Hello everyone, welcome to today's face painting tutorial. We are going to learn how to face paint a quick and easy default Roblox character. So this is your Bacon head character. I'm using Fusion Ultimate palette to source the colors. But to start off, I've picked up some black from my Fusion black. And what we're going to do here is set Bacon Head's jacket. Where the eyebrows start, we want to make sure that that's the wideness of where his jacket is. So we're just going to do a stroke down, and then from there on, from here, from the side, I'm going to bring his sleeve, and it's going to be the same width. And on the other side, we'll do exactly the same where that eyebrow starts. This is a 3/8 of an inch flat brush, and that's going to allow me to bring that stroke nice and thick. You can also use a number 6 round brush to really fan out those bristles. However, I feel this just makes it nice and easy when you're on the job to just get it done quickly. Now with my number 6 round brush, I am going to start making his face. Okay, so this is like the anchor point. When I do a face for a character, that's basically setting up the width of everything, and it's basically setting up where the focal point is when I'm doing designs like this. So I'm just going to do a circle just up the top, make it wider then narrower. Now these characters don't have much of a neckline, so from here I'm just going to do a little mark from here to there. I'm going to pick up a dark blue from my Fusion Ultimate Face Painting palette, and that's just going to bring the blue. So this is the blue shirt that the Roblox characters have. This is the default character, which is, well, I think they call them bacon heads. It's a whole new kid lingo out there when it comes to all these games. All right, so we've done his shirts, and now with that black activated, I just want to define the jacket to come in a little bit more, so from where his shoulder starts. All right, so with that same number 6 round brush, which is nicely loaded, we're going to bring his arms in. So I'm just going to bring it right down to widen those bristles, come up, and their hands are kind of like little claws. So again, on the other side, really widen up those bristles to make them thick, and then bring them over to where that sleeve is. And again, a bit like a claw. So 2 C's on either side. I've got a number 4 round brush, which I've loaded with the brown on my Fusion Ultimate palette, and I'm going to begin drawing his hair. So how I'll start this is I want to set the tone, so I want to really sort of measure up from the top, and I'm going to do a flick. So I'm going to bring it down and lift the brush up as we come down into like a little flick, and then from here on I want to do another one that comes in, and from here another one that comes in as well. So building up that volume of hair, and then from here it's just a flick hugging the face. Just going to make that flick a little bit more accentuated. All right, now I've got a detailing brush here. You can use whichever brush that you use for detailing. I've got a number 1 round brush. I've got a 0/2 round brush. That's also great for detailing. But whichever one of those you use is fine. This is a Fusion Body Art Liner 1 brush. And we're just going to draw his smile. So we're going to make it nice and wide down the bottom here, down and up. And his eyes are going to sit relatively in the middle, so in the middle of where his head is. So vertically placed in the middle. So 2 little tags like that. All right, and from here I really just want to outline his hands. So just to outline that claw, really accentuate it, barely touching the skin. Down. I just also want to go over his skin, so just outlining that, just accentuating that neckline and his hair. Do an outline of where that little cowlick hair piece is. Up and around, and accentuate this little lick right here. Okay, so I've just loaded up my half circle sponge, and I'm going to load it up with some of this light blue on one side and load it up with the darker blue on the other side. Now, if you're not too sure how to load up your sponge, I do have a comprehensive online face painting course on my letspaint.tv site, and it shows you all the ins and outs of the beginner tricks on doing these sorts of things and really loading things up nicely and smoothly, also blending. So now what we're going to do is just blend in that light blue with the dark blue. So the reason why I like to blend at the end of this is because the white of the face, sometimes when we're putting on the white, it might pick up some of the blue underneath. Because blue is quite a strong pigment, I like to make sure that I just do this afterward, just so that we're not picking up that pigment. What I'm doing is pinching the sponge here so that we have a smaller surface area and that we're not accidentally going over the edges of his head there. All right, so now flipping it over again to the dark blue, and we're going to blend that blue into that lighter blue. And so we're just making a semicircle all the way around and blend it in with the light blue. Blend it, blend it. All right, so now what I want to do now is I want to outline everything. Really makes it pop when we outline these designs. So with my liner brush or a number 2, number 1 round brush, just go around lightly stroking those edges. Just really makes those darker colors pop, and it also doesn't give them such a dark look around. So really just brightens everything up, I find, when you outline a darker outline. Now I just want to detail his shirt here. So from here I'm just going to do a little down and in. Another side, we're going to go down and in, and just outlining that. All right, we're going to end up with some stars. Now, you may not have a star stencil, but if you don't, that's completely fine. This would really work well just as is. But if you do, it's always lovely to add some stars. So position them. Load up that sponge with some white and just sponge on the stars. Making sure that your sponge is not heavily loaded with water. We want to make sure that we've got more paint to ratio, which will prevent any paint from bleeding underneath the stencil. End it right here with some teardrops, just hugging that semicircle. So 1 teardrop, 2 teardrop, 3, and then I'm going to end with 1 coming in. You don't really need to do this step. It's not necessary, but it just, what I find, these teardrops hug whatever semicircle you've got going on here and just completes it. All right, and there you have it, a little bacon head Roblox character. I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment below if you have any questions. I will have a list of products down the bottom that I've used. And if you're serious about learning how to face paint, check out my online course, letspaint.tv, where you can learn from absolute beginner through to advanced. Happy painting.